My name is Shannon. I'm a wife, a mom, and a shay-shay. I'm a speaker, an author, and a recording artist. But most importantly, I am a child of God. Every day, I seek to live out my faith with truth and transparency. But most days, I just need grace in high heels. Hello and welcome to this edition of Grace in High Heels. I'm your host, Shannon Perry, and we have an awesome show planned for you today. Get ready to enjoy some amazing music and incredible testimony from the lead singer of We Are Messengers, Darren Mulligan. Plus, Workout King John Prather is here to help us get into the best shape of our lives. But first, the cute shoe feature of the day. Aren't these darling? As my mama always said, false eyelashes and cute shoes make everything better. And speaking of cute, thanks to all of you who send us pictures of your pets doing the cutest thing. Today's picture comes from Lauren, and this is her dog Luke. And I have to share their incredible story. Luke is in front of the cross after his first Kingdom Dog ministry event. Lauren and Luke spread Jesus through this ministry, and they have shared Christ with 72 foster children who live in their area. So awesome! Luke and Lauren, keep up the great work. Hey, send us your pet having their cutest moment, and they could be a star right here on Grace in High Heels. Speaking of Grace, let's hear from a member of our Grace and Guts Girls book club. Grace and Guts is my latest book that shows you how to throw the knockout punch to the 12 areas women say they struggle with the most. Today's question comes from Beth.
Hey Shannon. So, my question is from chapter 4 of Grace and Guts. Lately, some things have happened to people that I love, and they've really made me question God and ask Him why. So my question for you is, what can I do when I feel like my faith is failing?
In chapter 4 of Grace and Guts, I reveal what happened to me the night that I hit the lowest point of my life and my faith. It's a story that is like none other I've ever told because nothing has ever happened to me like what happened to me that night. I won't spoil it for you, but if you're reading the book, I can tell you, Beth, God cares about what hurts your heart. Our feelings of faithlessness never change our holy God's faithfulness. 2 Timothy says, if we are faithless, He still remains faithful. Our fickle and ever-changing feelings don't determine God's love for us. His death and resurrection do. I share a lot more of what will help you win in the ring when faithlessness tries to attack in chapter 4. So, if you haven't read Grace and Guts, pick up a copy wherever books are sold and start winning the battles you face with practical and scriptural truths. If you'd like to climb in the ring and join the Grace and Guts Girls Book Club, it's free. Log on to shannonperry.com and send us your thoughts, and you could be in the next video we share. Women are warriors. We fight for our families, our friends, and our faith. But we're often hesitant to enter the ring when it comes to caring for ourselves. Our opponent comes to steal, to kill, and to destroy. But we've already been promised that we'll win the round when we find the guts to enter the ring and the grace to endure the fight. Darren Mulligan is the lead singer for the group We Are Messengers. They've garnered 4 top 10 Billboard hits with songs like Magnify, Point to You, and Everything Comes Alive. They've had over 30 million views on YouTube, and their song I'll Think About You was featured in the mega motion picture The Shack. Darren Mulligan. What an honor to have you here.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited that you're here. Well, let's just jump right in because there's so many things I want them to hear about you because you're just the real deal and I want them to know all about you and your music and what you're doing. So let's just kind of go back to the beginning. When you started singing, you were not exactly doing what you're doing now and you met your wife Heidi in the process. So tell us a little bit about that journey from where you started up until you met her.
Well, it's a long one, so I'll try and condense it, but being Irish, it's very hard to condense anything. So I grew up in Ireland, you know, and Roman Catholic home, very conservative, culturally Christian, you know, nominally, but had no real faith in Jesus, no understanding that there was hope, and that there was excitement, there was something concrete to hold on to. Wonderful parents. We didn't have a lot, but we had all the love in the world, you know. And I met this lassie, Heidi, when I was in Galway, and I was 19 and she was 17, and we fell in love, and I got on my first plane and I went to Scotland to visit her, and so, but it was at that time in my life that I had continued to play music. I'd always played music, and I was chasing a dream to be in a heavy rock band. And Heidi's life was falling apart. You know, she has her own heartache and her own story, a lot of hurt, a lot of disappointment. And when she needed me most, I left and went to America. This was maybe, you know, 12, 13 years ago, more than that. And it was there that she fell in love with Jesus. And I came back and I had become an atheist, agnostic then atheist. I had fallen into all kinds of adultery and drunkenness and violence and things I never thought I would be. And she still said yes to marrying someone like me. And a few weeks before we got married, I just fell in love with Jesus. And it was a year later, actually. You know, people talk about hearing God's voice. That always sounds kind of weird and creepy to me because, you know, I'm not sure how people hear it. But the first time he ever spoke to me, he told me, go and tell your wife Heidi everything you've ever done. And I was like, Jesus, this is a real bad idea, a real bad idea. And,
Not a good start.
and so I remember the day I went to her. She's tall and blonde and pretty and kind, and she's everything I'm not. And I said, these are the things I've done. And I waited for her to push me away, you know, and reject me. And she just put her arms around me, kissed me, and told me she'd love me and forgive me. And it was at that moment that I believed that everything was possible again. And so my whole world changed, her world changed, and that set us off on this kind of crazy journey.
How was the band formed?
Pretty much that. I have to go back to my wife again. You probably should have interviewed her.
I was going to say, tell her I'm glad she sent you.
Because when I said I'd never play music, we came from a little rural community, maybe 100 people in my village or less when I grew up. And we grew up in an area of Ireland where Protestants didn't like Catholics and Catholics didn't like Protestants. It was sectarian division. Because I grew up, if you ever heard of the Troubles, that's what I grew up with. And when I came to faith, I realized these people were wonderful. And I had spent my whole life judging them. And they had spent their whole life judging me. And we became incredible friends. See, God always unites, He never divides, always brings together, never separates. And they were stuck for someone to play some music. I said, I can try. Then they needed someone to sing, and I'd never sang. And I said, well, maybe I can try singing. You know, this was 10 years ago, less, maybe 9. And I tried singing. Anyway, every night for 3 years, the phone would ring and people would say, would you come to our little community center or our hall or our church? And me and my wife would just share this news. My little brother played drums, my friends played guitars in this little band. But whenever we got the call for Nashville, I knew it was just for us. And I offered it to everyone, that opportunity, because I loved those guys. But one by one they said, it's not right now, it's the time is not right. And so we came out here on our own with 5 suitcases, left everything we loved, cried for 2 or 3 weeks every day. And the day we got here, we were terrified. Like, I remember sitting in that wee apartment on a mattress on the floor going, God, why have you brought my family here? And the next day the sun came up and we went to Waffle House. And
God speaks that Waffle Houses.
And we stopped crying. And we cried a lot since then, but I think Waffle House turned the corner.
That's probably the first time I've ever heard that in an interview. You know, I was writing this interview and I was listening to the music and I was just jamming, to be honest with you. Love the music.
Thank you.
The Devil is a Liar. That day, I needed to hear those lyrics. How do you choose the songs for your projects?
We typically choose the most honest, most authentic songs because I write a lot of music, but what we've never done is we've never lied. I don't write things people want to hear. I write the things that my heart has to say, because if I don't, it's going to explode, you know? And that's the greatest compliment we get when people say, how do you know to say that? You put words to the things I was feeling. And so as a songwriter, the greatest gift is when someone else's heart receives the words you've said and they make it their own. So all these songs became all these people's songs. They're not mine anymore, they're out there.
So let me get this straight. You weren't singing, you weren't songwriting. God completely picks you up from another country and brings you here. And that is how your story started. So what you're saying to me is, when God calls you, just do it. Obedience is key.
Every time. And obedience looks different. Sometimes it's hard and it's messy, but that's okay.
Wow. Now you're taking this music everywhere, including being on tour with my all-time favorite, Toby Mac, but I have a new all-time favorite, I will just say. You guys are, what a team you are.
Thank you.
So you know, inquiring minds want to know what it's like to have been on tour with Toby Mac. What's that like?
It's unbelievable. He's the most genuine, kind, hardworking man I've ever met. He's the most successful man in our entire genre. And there's a reason, not just because he's incredibly talented, but because he gives of his time. You know when you meet people in hallways, right? And there's a certain type of human who will be looking over your shoulder, looking for somebody more important.
Yes.
It's not Toby. Toby comes at you eye level, and he wants to know you, he wants to talk. We sat and we played ping pong and cornhole, and we'd eat together, and he shared his life. And I said it to him last week, I said, Tobes, thank you for inviting us into your house. Because some people invite you into their house and make you sit in the back porch. Toby invites you and says, here, come sit at the dining table with me. And that's what the kingdom should be like. If we would stop inviting people into our home and giving them a place of dishonor, but would invite them and say, everything I have is yours, then they would know us by how we love each other. I'm sick of people talking to us and assuming that because we love Jesus, that we're narrow-minded, that we're judgmental, that we're hypocritical. It should be the opposite. They should see the love of Christ pouring out of our lives. That's how we change the world.
That's exactly right. Wow, that's good. Darren, what is the one thing that you pray that your listeners, I know there's probably a lot of things you hope they take away and that you pray they take away, but what is the one main thing that, if you could choose one thing, what is the one main thing you pray that your listeners will really walk away with? What is the heart change you want to see?
It's a longer answer than just the one thing, but it is one thing. So in this season of our lives, we're really focused on this, letting people share their stories, right? So I hope that people, when they hear our music, they go, it's okay to be me. It's okay to tell the truth about who I am, what my disappointment and my heartaches and my struggles are, about the things that have happened to me, right? That they get the freedom to share that. And then in doing so, that they would see Christ come near, wrap his arms around them, never rejecting, never pushing away, but wrapping his arms around them in their honesty and saying, at last. You see, God's not looking for us to be perfect. He's just looking for us to be intimate and honest. So I hope that people would find intimacy with God and realize it's okay to be me, no matter what that looks like.
And you set a great example of that, my friend.
Well, thank you.
That. Darren Mulligan, my new Irish friend. Anytime you want to come on and do an interview, you're welcome to come back on.
Love that.
You are amazing. Your music is amazing, and what a blessing you are. Thank you for your transparency, for your honesty, and for your music that is changing lives and changing this world, because your heart shines through in the lyrics that you're writing, and your heart of obedience was key. And look how many lives you're going to be changing now. And so thank you for being
my pleasure.
Your real self.
I like
we
you a
love
lot.
the real. I like you a lot too, my friend. If they want to connect with you, come see you on tour, what's the best way to do that?
Just wearemessengersmusic.com. You can find out everything there. And there's one other website. It's really important to us.
Okay.
It's called maybeitsokay.com. And people can leave their anonymous stories there of their heartaches and their disappointment. And if people would just read through that, it's thousands and thousands of messages from all over the world of people saying, I'm not afraid to share my story, and they're doing it. So that's more important than wearemessengersmusic.com. Maybeitsokay.com. Share your story, tell the truth, and find hope and healing in that.
Awesome. Thank you, Darren. God bless you.
Coming up next, Mr. Workout King himself, John Prather, is here to show us a quick and effective way to get ourselves in shape.
If you know Jesus Christ as your personal Savior, your Lord, you never have to take another negative word from another person inside of your heart about yourself, because if it can't be backed up in here, it's not the truth.
tonight I had a great time listening to Shannon, and it was beneficial as a mom of little ones, just knowing that sometimes when we get lost in the chaos of being a mom, that there's a purpose for our life.
She came walking in that bathroom. She said, "What is the matter with you?" I said, "I am hung in the toilet paper roll holder."
Shannon is the woman that you want to come and speak to your ladies because she's funny, she's full of life, she loves Jesus, and it comes through so clearly.
Well, actor, model, and personal coach John Prather is here to take us through a workout that he says is sure to help us change the way we look and the way we feel. Hi, John.
Hi, how are you today?
I'm good so far,
Yeah,
but
we'll
we
see,
haven't
okay.
started.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to learn all about what we're fixing
All
to
right.
do because you have a lot of plans for me.
Yes, so we're going to do a little full body workout today. So we're going to get a little everything in.
Okay.
And we're also going to do it, anyone can do this at home. So basic equipment or no equipment at all, so that this is so general. All we'll need today is a little bit of a chair or a bench. You can use a coffee table, just anything stable.
Okay.
So we're going to start out first with just the basics. We're going to work on our core. So the same thing everybody's got to get. Your body has a natural muscle belt here that'll kind of pull everything in tight. And that's what we want to work first. So we're going to do a plank. So I'm going to show you how we do this here. What you're going to do is put your shoulders and arms over the chair like this. Put your feet about shoulder width apart behind you. And you're going to pull your abs in tight. So your belly button is going to be pulled into your spine. And we're just going to hold this position. Now this is going to be the basic position that you'll have for every movement that we do. And this is going to train you to kind of keep this natural belt that you
Really
have.
hard. It's like
No, it's super easy.
so
Go ahead. Let's
simple.
give it a try.
It looks easy. Let's try it. Okay. So
All right, here we go.
I'm
So,
here.
yep, body centered over here.
I'm gonna put my legs
Feet out
over
behind
here.
you. We're only going to hold this for 5 or 6 minutes. Don't worry about
Do
it.
I bend my arms?
So leave your arms straight. Your upper body
I'm
is nice and
already
tight. Your hips, bring your hips down just a little bit. And
Okay.
each time you breathe, I want you to pull your belly button to your spine. So tighten up your core just a little bit more. There we go. All right, so hold it for a few more seconds. And each time you breathe again, each time you exhale, I want you to pull your abs in a little bit tighter. So
not
that's
breathing.
Don't hold your breath. You don't want to do that. All right, let's go ahead and hop up. So now you have it's always a little bit harder than it looks. So eventually it'll work, so we're doing those on the floor. So this is our easier version. We'll get to the harder one later. So now we're going to do a full body movement, mostly lower body. We're going to do a squat. So what I want you to do, stand with your feet about shoulder width apart.
Okay.
Toes are going to be pointed slightly out. So your toes, if you walk, your feet will naturally kind of be pointed out a little bit. That's the natural position you want your toes. So don't force your toes to kind of come in and your knees to come in here.
Okay.
Put your feet about shoulder width apart.
Right.
Yep. So you're going to keep your shoulders up, your head up, and your spine is going to be straight, and your body is just kind of fold beneath you accordion style. So your knees are going to go forward and your hips are going to go back. Hands can be out wherever you want them for balance here. So we're just going to squat down like this here, and then come right back up.
And get up.
So
That's the key.
we can start out as shallow as you need to, kind of get those legs and knees warmed up. You always want to start out with a little bit of easier version and then move into the harder one. So let's
I'm
do a
just
few
gonna-
reps here.
I'm just
Yep.
gonna squat
There you go.
down.
Let your hips come back just a little bit further. There we go.
Is that good?
And then you're just going to push everything right back up and stand a string pulling you up toward the ceiling. Your core is strong, just like when we did those planks right there. And then let's go do it again. There you go. Very nice, very nice. Nice and stable. And that was a good catch. You see you kind of lose your
Yeah,
balance there. You
yeah.
want to tighten everything up
Okay.
and keep that smooth motion right back up. There you go. Very nice. Let's do a couple
Really use
more.
your legs on this.
Yes, you do, very much so. But again, you don't want to lose track of that core. Everything we do, want to keep that midsection nice and strong and tight.
Now, do I
And
have
that's
to worry
good.
about my knees, my knees going over my toes?
No, on these, you want your knees to fold over. Your hips and your knees will kind of counterbalance each other because as your hips go back, your knees will go forward. So your shoulders should stay square right over the middle of your feet, and then as you come up, everything should extend up at the same time, and your hips and your knees should lock out at the same time. So as you go down, it'll be like this here, and then as you come up, these joints lock out at the same
Yeah,
time.
you can
You're
feel it
nice
really
and tall.
burning in here.
It really does. And the more, when you stand up, when you kind of push your hips, you'll tighten up your glutes and keep your abs strong. So at the top, you're in a nice, strong posture right there.
Okay.
All right?
Yeah.
So next, let's bring back our chair. Again, you can use a bench, a table, whatever you have, but just make sure it's stable. So we're gonna do some chair dips next. So have a seat on the chair, grab the sides, get a good grip. You're gonna move your hips right off the chair here, dip right down, and then you're just gonna press up with your arms here. You can keep your feet close for the easier version, and then as you get better at it, you can move your feet a little bit further away so you have a little bit more of your body weight. You'll just go down where you're comfortable and push right back up. And the top, you want to tighten up your arm here. So this is going to work your shoulders and your arms. All your pressing muscles of your upper body are going to be working here.
Y'all want to know, is this what you do to get that?
Yes, this is the absolutely best upper body movement you can do.
Look like that. Okay,
Dips,
so I sit
love
here.
'em.
Yes, and then I put my feet. How
Put
far
your
out?
feet, so start a little bit close to you, so bring them out just a little bit,
Okay.
so that when you shift off here, you're not right over your feet. And then as we get better, once we make it a little tougher, you can move your feet out. So get a good grip on the bench, move your hips off just, move your hips off just a little bit,
Okay, and then I'm going to dip down.
and then you're just gonna dip down. Easy peasy.
You better get.
Yeah,
Ready?
yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so I just
There you go, yep, and then press up and tighten up the back of your arms there.
Now,
When
do
you
I
got-
sit back down?
No, you don't at all.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was perfect, except for you gotta do it 10 times. We'll do 5.
Okay.
5 times. Let's do it 3 times first, and then we'll count
Okay.
again. Let's do it. Here you go. Let's do 3. 1, 2 more. 2, there you go. Tighten up those arms. Perfect. Keep that core pulled in. Beautiful. Those are great. Perfect. Excellent. All right, one more exercise. All right, back to the lower body. Catch your breath. Let's move the chair out of the way. So again, you got that same posture. Your feet are about shoulder width apart here.
Okay.
Your core is pulled in strong. Your head and your chest are up. And you're gonna step back. We'll start with the right leg. Step your leg back behind you, just like that right there. Dip your knee down towards the ground, and then bring it right back forward like that. Then we'll switch. We'll bring the left leg back, and then we'll come back forward. So we'll just do a reverse lunge here. So you want your hips to stay in between your feet. So when you step back,
Okay, so
you want your,
step back.
yep, you want to keep your hips so they're kind of centered in between your feet.
Alright.
So let's give it a try.
So I'm going to go back like this.
Perfect. Beautiful. Excellent. There you go. Yes, very nice. Perfect. You got your shoulders back. You're nice and tall through the spine. This looks great. Oh,
Lost
there
my
we go. I
balance.
jinxed you there. Here we go. Let's do that one again. Yep.
It's weird because one side is stronger than the other.
Yes, and everybody has that. And you want to work to kind of balance that out there. But usually you'll have one side that's stronger and also a little bit more
It-
balance.
My right side is stronger.
You also want to use your core to kind of stabilize yourself
Okay.
here. So you don't want that upper body to wobble
so if
back and
I
forth.
lose my balance, I can use my core.
Uh-huh. Tighten it all up and
Tighten
come
it all
back to
up.
center. Yep, there you go. Perfect. These look great. Very nice.
Thank
That's
you,
perfect.
John. That was awesome.
Yeah, the best way to do these is to string them all together, kind of like we did. You just set up all 4 of them, go one to the next to the next. So if you're short on time, if you're even short on energy, or if you're short on space, you can just use a little space
I
like
was going to
this.
say, we did a lot in the
Yeah,
little bitty area.
absolutely. So just do maybe 15 of each one, and then just kind of go through it back to back to back.
Hey, John, thank you so much for being here.
Absolutely.
Great job.
Great
Awesome
work to
job.
you. Very good.
Thank you. Hey, be sure to connect with John and check out all he has going on, including his new book, The Nephilim Virus, at johntprather.com. While it's important to care for our temple on the outside, the heart of our temple needs God's word to stay strong. So here's today's quick glimpse of grace from the road just for you.
When I found out I was going to do TV, I remember going to my mama. Y'all would have loved my mom. She was so sweet. And she said, now look, I know you. You're going to have to be careful about that TV thing because I know they're going to try to make you feel like you've got to look, you're fine the way you are. But whatever you do, don't you ever do anything to your face. Well, I was turning 40. I'm much older now. But I was turning 40. And, I never really had any lips growing up. Now, all of y'all look at my mouth right now, so go ahead. They're drawn on. I never really had any lips, but when I turned 40, I thought, now, what does my mama know? She can't tell me whether or not I can, do anything to my face or not. What do mamas know? So I decided I'm going to buy me some lips. Did you know you can buy anything these days? Just so in case you didn't know. And so I thought, I'm going to do it. I'm not going to tell her. I'm just going to go do it. So I went to the place where you can buy lips. I walked in, and they said, can I help you? I said, yes, I would like to buy some lips. She said, okay, great. She handed me a balloon. You put it on your face, and they freeze your lips to where you can't really feel them. Because what they're going to do next is they're going to walk in with a needle that's about, it gets longer every time I tell the story. It's about this long. And she comes in, and she says, okay, are you ready? I said, yeah, I'm ready. I thought, She stuck me with that needle the first time, and I mean, that stuff works. It's a filler, and it fills you up. It grew like a chia pet. I mean, immediately, my lip went, whoa, but I said, I said, you have got to stop. And she said, well, what's wrong? I said, it hurts. She said, honey, if I stop now, you're going to have one lip like this, and you're going to look kind of funny. I said, okay, go ahead. I can do this. She stuck me all the way around. I had blood coming down my lips. My lips began to swell up, and what they didn't tell me is it swells for 2 weeks. And what happens is the inside of your mouth, the skin swells up, and you can't talk. And so I left there, and I hadn't told David I was doing it. That would be my husband. So I went home that night, and I was just kind of walking around the house like this. And finally, he saw me. He said, what happened to your face? I said, what are you talking about? He said, it looks like you got hit by a truck. Y'all, I would like to tell you I was honest, but I was not. I said, I have a little bit of work done. I'm in the ministry. I told him later, I told him the truth. And you know what he said to me? He said, well, I wouldn't go back to that dentist. Well, what they didn't tell me is that my lips would stay swollen up and they would bruise really bad. And they also didn't tell me that the next day, 12 of my closest friends had planned a birthday party for me. I tried to put all kind of makeup on, and I thought, that's all right, they'll never know. I walked into the birthday party. Nobody said anything about my lips. These are 12 of my closest friends. And so finally, I just in the middle of the table, I thought, well, I'm going to tell them. I stood up and I said, I have an announcement to make. I don't know if any of y'all noticed or not. I bought myself a little birthday present. I bought myself some lips. One of my friends stood up and she said, not noticed. She said, your lips came in the room before you did.
If your group is hosting an upcoming retreat, conference, or event for your ladies, drop me an email or give our office a call at the number you see on the screen, because I would love to be your speaker and meet you in person. You can learn more about all the topics I offer when you visit shannonperry.com. Hey, thanks for tuning in to today's show, and until next time, know you're loved and keep walking in God's grace.
To purchase a copy of Shannon's teaching materials, including her latest book, Grace and Guts, visit shannonperry.com. Grace and High Heels TV is made possible by the friends and partners of Shannon Perry Ministries. Your tax-deductible donation is an investment into eternity, and together we will reach viewers with the life-changing truth of God's Word. To give, visit shannonperry.com. And thank you for your prayerful and generous support.